All right, so I've had the iPhone 17 Pro for about 45 days now, and it's been a great 45 days, especially coming from the 16 Pro. This is a huge upgrade in every single department. Now, is it worth upgrading from the 16 Pro to the 17 Pro? If you don't review and talk about tech like me and make content, then probably not. But if you have something like an iPhone 15 Pro even or older, I think it's worth taking a look at upgrading, especially if you are in that realm of looking to upgrade. But I want to start things off with the design, and the first thing that kind of pops out is the display. It is absolutely phenomenal. Super thin bezels. You still get that 6.3 inch display like its predecessor, but now it's 3000 nits of peak brightness, and I absolutely love it. You can use it outdoors without any issues. If your work requires you to be outdoors all the time and you're just sitting under the sunlight, nothing really happens. Like, you'll still see your content and what you're doing on your phone really well, and I've tried it. It's great, but I also do love just the display quality itself. 120 hertz ProMotion, AMOLED display, all the great stuff with an iPhone display. And yes, Samsung, supplies and stuff like that, but put those stuff aside, the display itself is actually really great. And I also do love this wallpaper. It is from my latest wallpaper pack called Lava Flow. Links will be in the description down below if you want to check it out. 15 different types, and they're all great. I think this is my favorite wallpaper pack by far. But anyway, moving on from that, the build itself, design, I feel like it is premium. It still should be, right? It's only been 45 days and it's been durable. There's been like the scratch gate and all that other stuff, and the coloring is not the greatest, but I use a case and I've been very careful with it, so I haven't seen any scratches, dings. I haven't dropped the phone, thankfully, so I'm all good in that regards. But it has aluminum unibody, and I'm fine with it because it helps with thermal management. But some may not, because it's not as durable, like the material wise, as something like titanium. I get that, but for me at least, if it helps with thermal management, I'm all for it. Now, there is a glass piece right here, and that is for essentially MagSafe charging, which I'll get to later in the video. The camera plateau, I got used to it. Like, I'm fine with it. In fact, having this like dual tone design where it's like a different shade of blue for the glass, I like it. This design feels more industrial. I feel like Apple took the elegance of the Pros and kind of threw that in the air and made this more industrial, if you know what I mean. And it is a bit heavier. That is because there's a larger battery, physically larger battery. Again, I'll get to the battery department later in the video, so stay tuned. And then this deep blue is what has been going on in like the tech space, the correct color. People are naming it the correct color, like silver, the correct color, or deep blue, the correct color, which I think it is. But again, that's just a preference thing. If they made a space black, then yes, that would have been the correct color. But they only released 3 colors this year: deep blue, cosmic orange, and the silver. This deep blue is the closest thing you can get to a space black, unless you want to go with the black iPhone 17. But then again, that's not a Pro. But also then again, you'd have to think about whether you need a Pro or not. Anyway, I like this color. I really do. But hopefully Apple does release like a 4th color in the spring. We'll have to wait and see. But overall, design has held up very well. I do like that. One thing I hope they get rid of is like the camera control. I don't use it. I've seen one person use it, and that was when I went to Niagara Falls. I'm sure it was a tourist using camera control. And that was really it. It was cool to see in action that there are people who use it, but it's not as often as I would have thought it would be when it first was released, unveiled. The feature was unveiled last year. But anyway, moving on to the software and the performance. The A19 Pro chipset in this iPhone 17 Pro it is good. Like, it is really good. If you are in the content space, for example, for me, what I do on my phone is like on this home screen you see right here, a lot of things are YouTube centric. I am using YouTube Studio. I'm obviously watching lots of YouTube videos. I have ChatGPT, Grok. Yes, I do use 2-3 different types of AI apps just to kind of try both of them out and see which one works out the best for me. So far, obviously, it's been ChatGPT, but I also have Grok because of X Premium. But nonetheless, like, I'm using these apps for YouTube. I have Pokemon TCG Pocket, which has completely blown up the TCG market in the past year, which I talk about the TCG market, the Pokemon card market, in my separate channel, Podosa Pokemon. If you want to check it out, links will be down below. And then, apps like Delta to play my old school Pokemon Crystal, the good stuff. But then again, like photos and videos, I'm using CapCut and Lightroom and Canva. And this phone has tackled everything without any issues whatsoever. Again, all my social media apps, which I should probably clean up, like Pinterest. I don't know why Pinterest is there. Let's remove that from the home screen. But thing is, again, everything I've thrown at it, it has tackled with no problems. I haven't had any bugs or issues, especially with iOS 26. I feel like it was meant for the 17 Pro. I came across a lot of bugs, especially with iOS 26, with the iPhone 16 Pro, but also previous iterations of iOS. iOS 18 was pretty bad too when I first got the 16 Pro. It was rough. Now this does come equipped with 12 gigs of RAM, which is great. And then that vapor cooling chamber paired with the efficiency of the A19 Pro chipset, yeah, it makes this phone feel fast. Like, it really does. It doesn't get warm to the touch at all when you're playing heavy, intensive, games of that sort. And the most heavy, intensive games I'll play on this phone is like Clash of Clans and Call of Duty Mobile, more so Call of Duty Mobile, and Pokemon TCG Pocket, which I don't really think is too much of a crazy game that requires a lot of power. But overall, it truly has been awesome. Now, the one thing I actually didn't talk about in the display was the anti-reflective coating. It's there, but it's not as prominent as the S25 Ultra, so it's nice to see, but I hope they do up that quality in the iPhone 18 Pro. But just kind of, overall wrapping things up in the software and the performance department, if you're looking for a powerful phone that's going to just take care of your everyday needs, plus content, consumption, but also making content, recording, taking photos, and then editing here with whatever app you use and then uploading directly on social media through the iPhone, it is great. I tell a lot of people all the time, that's going to kind of bring me into the camera department. If you are in the market looking to start making content and you want a good phone, iPhone 17 Pro. In fact, any iPhone, anyone can argue, any iPhone is great for making content. But if you have an iPhone 17 Pro right now, and if you're just kind of looking for other options like a better camera, better lighting, better this, better that, you just got to use your phone, camera, and get things started. iPhone 17 Pro is more than capable to get a channel, YouTube channel running, which I think is a huge missed opportunity for those who are looking to get into this space, whether you want to start making personal content and build your personal brand, or you have a business and you want to kind of promote your business and build an audience that way. But the cameras in that regards are phenomenal. Triple 48 megapixel camera setup, it still impresses me every single day. Main sensor delivers fantastic clarity and balanced colors across all lighting conditions, whether it's daylight, whether it's night mode, whatever the case may be, it is great. Now there also is 4x and 8x optical zoom, which is a huge plus. There isn't things like 100x zoom like what Samsung has to offer or Pixel, but I'm okay with that. Now, the video quality, I think, remains unmatched. There's 4K 60 HDR, there's ProRes RAW, there's Apple Lock 2, Genlock, like everything you can ask for as someone who's getting into the content space, it has right here. Now, there is an 8K recording, which, frankly, how many people are watching 8K videos? I don't know, but the fact that these cameras, technically, the hardware supports 8K, but Apple doesn't seem to enable it, I guess. It's kind of weird, but maybe next year they will, or maybe they just can't justify it yet. But anyway, the front-facing camera, I think, is also really great for making content. Why? It's got upgraded 18 megapixel front-facing camera, but it's also because it has dual capture. So essentially, what I'll do is I'll go to video, and I'll hit dual capture, and bam. So you can kind of vlog, but also show, let's say you're doing like a review video like me, or you're making you're unboxing Pokemon cards, you're ripping packs. I think that's a great way to make content, but also the fact that the camera itself, you can now, if you switch to front-facing camera, center stage, great for FaceTime calls, but also you can switch it. It has a square lens, so you don't need to, switch your phone like this in horizontal mode to take a horizontal landscape photo. You can do that with just one press of a button, which is awesome in that regard. So overall, I think the iPhone 17 Pro, it feels like a pocket-sized studio in the camera department. It's reliable, it's flexible, and I think it is pro ready because of having those 3 camera lenses. Now the battery department for me has been huge. A huge improvement over the 16 Pro. Miles better. It's improved so much that I don't even need to, I can go to sleep without needing to charge this. I can wake up in the morning, charge it for like 30, 40 minutes, and I'm all set to go. That's how good it is. I'm getting 8 hours of screen on time, and even though I have a charger wherever I go, whether it's at work, whether it's at home, whether it's in my studio, whether it's in my car, whatever the case may be, I don't need to put it on charge. Do I still do? Yeah, I do. But if I said, hey, you know what? I'm not charging my phone at all. This phone can easily last me all day. And that's after I use it really heavily. I'm a heavy user. I am using this phone for content consumption, for making content, for my YouTube business, for MTG and my other MTG affiliated channels. And this will last me all day. It is great. Physically larger battery with the help of the vapor cooling chamber, because also having aluminum unibody, which helps with heat dissipation, the efficiency of the A19 Pro chipset. The battery life is great. And if you go with the Pro Max, you're going to get even better battery life. I'm telling you, better battery life with the Pro Max. If you want the best of the best, then yes, that's the phone to go with. I wanted the smaller Pro. Again, I talk about it in my other videos because it's a smaller Pro. Essentially, it's just easier to carry, and it still does the same things. I'm just sacrificing a larger display and battery life, which I am okay with because this is already great. Now, there is slightly faster charging. You do need to have the correct adapter for that, like a 40-watt adapter. You have to have the correct one. But other than that, it does, charge pretty fast. And MagSafe about, 25 watts if you have the correct MagSafe charger. Heat during charging is minimal. Again, I think that vapor cooling chamber does help out too. So when it comes to overheating, no problems on my end. Charging speeds pretty fast, hence the battery life is great. Now this does start at $10.99 for 256 gigs, not for 128 gigs, so that's great, but they got rid of the $999 price tag. But then again, remember, that was for 128 gigs, so did they really increase the price? I guess. I'm still sure that if there was a 128 gig option, people would have gone for that, but they got rid of it. I think it was a good thing. 128 gigs was not cutting it. 256 gigs should have always been the starting, and it is. Now you can go up to 2 terabytes if you go with the Pro Max. Only the Pro Max offers 2 terabytes, which I kind of wish the smaller Pro did, but hey, I didn't pick it up regardless. I didn't even pick up 1 terabyte, so does it really matter for me? No. So about after 45 days, I think this phone is well worth it, especially considering just the improvements overall year over year and what you're getting with the camera improvements, display improvements, improvements in the internals with just the speed and the battery longevity. I think it's great. And I'm sure the resale value is going to hold great, as it usually does. iPhones usually hold better resale value than other flagships. Makes absolute sense. But I kind of want to wrap things up of what I've noticed. The pros for me and is the performance, the camera, battery, comfort. I think they're great. They all work well together. There's really no overheating, no throttling, no bugs. The everyday experience feels premium and reliable. The battery endurance and the charging efficiency continue to impress me. It's great. Now, there are some minor drawbacks, and I did take off my case, which is this one right here from Thinborn. Links will be in the description down below. So it is a little bit slippery when you are using it without a case, but that's okay. If you do use a case, I'll put it that way, then you won't have any issues with that. And then for some, the price may be high, and it is. $1099 is expensive. Don't get me wrong; it is an expensive phone. The regular iPhone 17 at $800 is expensive too. Phones are expensive, but hey, I mean, that's just, a lot of people are still going and buying the latest iPhone, and the fact that if Apple releases a foldable that costs more than its competitors, people will buy that. That's going to be more expensive, like $2,000+, and people will just find a way to justify it. But overall, I'm really happy with it. The iPhone 17 Pro has settled into being one of the most dependable phones for me that I've used in 2025. I think it's powerful without being overkill, even though the A19 Pro chipset is kind of overkill. It's beautiful without really being fragile. I think, like I said, Apple took that elegance in the Pros and threw that in the iPhone Air, and then reliable in every single category. I don't think this is like a small upgrade. I think Apple's really perfecting the Pro formula each and every year, and this is the closest to what I truly feel like is a Pro. If you want a phone that can handle anything, shooting videos, editing videos, gaming, or just an all-day battery life phone, then you are really going to like the iPhone 17 Pro. After 45 days, I can give it a thumbs up and I can recommend it. Again, you got to know what you want, what you look for in a phone, and if this does, then hey, this is going to be a great phone for you. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, definitely be sure to superman that like button, comment down below, and best of all, share this video because it really does help out the channel out a lot and will help push my content out to more people. Definitely be sure to check out my latest wallpaper pack right here. It is called Lava Flow. I'll be leaving links in the description down below. Here are just a couple of different ones right here, as you can see, and I'm going to go right here to one of my favorites. There we go. And that's been it from me, guys. I'll catch you all in the next episode.